The following is a presentation of the IH Sports Network. You're listening to the Monday Night Roundtable. For the next 2 hours, we'll talk local high school sports with the voice of the Oneida Indians, Tim Smith.
10-5, touchdown, Indians.
Give me the corners, 2 scores, baby.
Give me the corners.
The voice of the Scott Highlanders, Rick Keaton.
Throw the ball, has a receiver long upfield, chasing it down. Catch made by Rylan Griffith. He'll take it all the way to the end zone.
Produced by the IH Sports Network, the Roundtable begins now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Roundtable. This is the IH Sports Network. I'm Ben Garrett, alongside the voice of the Oneida Indians, Tim Smith, the voice of the Scott Highlanders, Rick Keaton. We are live from the C. Michael A. Technology Center in Helenwood. We've got Greg Bond behind the controls, as always, and this starts, guys, year number 5 of the IH Sports Network. And, of course, for you two, in calling these games, it's a whole lot more than 5 years. But here we are again. It seems like yesterday it was April, and or March really, and we were taking a couple of weeks off to kind of collect our thoughts. But once again, it is sports time. And Tim, Rick, let's start with you, Tim. Your thoughts on the season ahead?
I mean, it does come around fast.
Yes.
You know, that's for sure. And here before you know it, and then we're 5 days away, 4 days almost away from the very first contest. So, I mean, you're excited about it. It's something new. There's always changes, and there's always new faces to be seen. There's always things that went well last year, and you're wondering, are they going to get that much better? Things that were a struggle a year ago, have they been fixed? And so this year, it's a new schedule, and it's going to be a new district, or region, as they say. So for the Indians, it's going to be automatic playoffs. I mean, they're in, as we sit here right now. There's 4 teams in the region. And so Oneida makes the playoffs. The question is, where will they finish in this group of 4 of Polk County, Tellico Plains, and Eagleton? A year ago, Oneida beat Eagleton, and they had 1-score games with Polk County and Tellico Plains. And Eagleton was a 13-0 win. But, I mean, you're talking about tight games. It should be an interesting jockeying race in that region. And then if you look at the history of that region last year, that region swept out Region 1. And so the way I understand it, you could wind up playing your region again in the second round, then they reseed after that. So it could be that your region is also a preview of a potential quarterfinal, matchup to get to the quarterfinals. So that's a lot. I'm already in the quarterfinals and just talking about it right now. But between now and then, I look at the Oneida schedule and some things changed. And Coach May, in putting this schedule together, he played some tough hombres. You don't have to schedule Coalfield. You don't have to schedule Oliver Springs. I mean, these are 2 teams that battle for a Final Four spot, but they're on the slate there. CAK returns for the first time in over 20 years to Oneida's schedule. So Bledsoe County returns, and, I mean, Bledsoe County was a dominant force just right behind York last year. So it's got all the makings for a very interesting schedule, and it all starts this Friday night. They get to start out at home against a Rockwood team that Oneida has now won 2 in a row against. Usually it's been kind of back and forth with those 2 teams throughout the series history. Oneida's got 2 in a row. Can they make it 3 in a row in this game they host Friday night? That's going to be the goal and the first thing up for Coach Jimmy May and his team.
And you've already said it. And one point that I was thinking about earlier today, outside Oneida, and of course here at home, the expectation for both teams is always win. I mean, you want your team to win. Outside of Oneida, expectations may be as low right now for Oneida as I can ever remember them being, simply in the fact that folks away from here, they don't expect much. But the pieces are there, automatic playoff quality. I mean, we know they're in the playoffs. So the question is, can you get to that top 2? Can you host a playoff game? Can you win a region championship? The pieces are there for Oneida. And if it comes together, look out for this Oneida team.
Absolutely.
Sure is. I had a chance the other night. I went up and watched part of their scrimmage. Good to see QB1 back in place as Ryan looked pretty sharp with his passes. His receivers made some good catches and yards after the catch. So I agree. There are some pieces there. And defensively, they were real strong the other night.
The only thing I would say on that is depth. What's the depth look like? Because the injuries can take a promising season into a disappointing one pretty quick.
Well, depth is a concern, and I would say the same thing about Scott High, Rick, in that there are some pieces there. Depth probably the biggest concern, because if you have a couple injuries, those start to add up pretty quickly. But Coach Billy Hall, as he enters his second year at Scott High, this is the first schedule that he's been able to put together for himself. Yes. He's put together a schedule that allows Scott High some room to have some success this year. And if you look at their region, Oneida's got 4 teams. We know they're in. Scott High's got 6 teams. So you probably got to win 2 to get into the playoffs. And when you look down that list, McMinn Central, Meigs County, Sweetwater, Kingston, and you say
Austin East.
And Austin East is the other one, where the 2 wins come from. And you can start circling some teams early that you're probably going to be looking at as you get into the midpoint of the season. It should be an exciting year for Scott High.
And with the new region alignment, you do end up with 3 teams that I don't think we've ever played before. Meigs County, Sweetwater, and McMinn Central. We may have played McMinn Central several years ago. Of those 5 teams, including AE and Kingston, of course, 4 of them made the playoffs last year. Sweetwater is the only team that did not compete in the playoffs. And you hit a good point, I think. This is Billy Hall's first chance to put together his schedule. He's tried to keep it interesting. He knows the road through the region is quite tough. But, thankfully we've got 3 of those 5 region games are going to be at home, I think. So the impetus for the Highlanders is, to stay healthy. And you start with the offensive line. You got 5 starters, got to stay healthy. Defensive side of the ball, you got 3 or 4 linemen right there. Once again, they've got to stay healthy. The coaching staff this year, Coach Hall came up with this. We've always tried to do this, but it's very hard to do it in small schools where you can platoon the offense and defense. And I was trying to sit around yesterday and just think about it. Maybe only 1 or 2 players that they're looking at that's going to play both ways. So they're able to platoon, which if they can keep the offensive line healthy, give them some rest there. Occasionally they may have to put a couple of them in to beef up the defensive line, but right now they're going to go with a little lighter defensive line, quicker, some pressure and stuff. You've got linebackers. You've got a couple of real good players, I think, in the secondary. And this team has newcomers. This team, newcomers haven't played football at the high school level. They're seniors now, and they've got a couple of transfers in that I think makes them as athletic a team as I've seen the Highlander football squad have in several years right now. And we'll talk about that later, I think, with Coach Hall.
And as I was looking at the roster a couple of days ago, I counted 60 names. That is the most I can remember from a Scott High program, at least in a number of years.
Well, I looked at the roster today, and I'm only getting 48 or 9.
Well, we'll see. We'll see when Coach Hall shows up.
I mean, of course, like I say, 49 would be great because a lot of years we finished with 30 and 35. So 49 is a nice start to have. And, and there's also I sort of saved it for the pregame on Friday night. I mean, it's what's new at Scott High. You've got administrators. You've got jumbo board, you've got concession stand, of course you got the new turf field from last year. All the things are really developing and progressing quite well, and the next thing we got to do, win more than 1 game to make the regions. But it'd be nice to see this team win 5. It's been 8 years.
8 years.
8 years since the Highlanders had a winning record and a playoff game. So a lot to work for this unit.
All right, it starts Friday night, and of course we'll be there for both of those games. Should be 2 exciting games. Oneida Rockwood, Tim, has turned into a big-time rivalry, and Scott High McCreary County, they've not played in, 8 years? 10 years, 12 years. But
14 and 15.
14 and 15, and, man, Scott High just throttled them back then. Put up 61 one year and 63 the next.
2 high-scoring games in Highlander history there.
It was. I don't think it will be quite that lopsided.
No,
Friday
it will
night.
not.
No. Should be 2 exciting games Friday night. So here's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to take a break right now, and these 2 guys are going to slide out of the way, and I'm going to talk some soccer with our soccer coaches, and then I'll slide out of the way and let you guys talk to the football coaches. Real quickly, though, Stuart Jones, he handles all of our sales, and he's been working hard putting together our roster of sponsors for this year, and I want to mention these folks. You'll hear me mention them throughout the season, or hear these guys mention them throughout the season. But first of all, of course, we want to thank South Fork Physical Therapy. They have been a huge partner of ours. Could not do what we do without their support. We're happy to have them back again this year. A couple of new sponsors that we want to welcome on board. First of all, the Rogers Group, and if you're involved in construction at all, you're very familiar with the Rogers Group. They bought out the concrete plant operations from Twin K, which has been with us the last couple of years, so we're glad to have Rogers Group on board. One Bank of Tennessee, we want to welcome them in as well. And then a lot of returning sponsors, and let me run through that list really quickly. I mentioned Southport Physical Therapy, also First National Bank, Razaks, Danny's Drugs, Scenic Foods, El Rey, Mountain People's Health Councils, Lumber King, United Cumberland Bank. We've also got McDonald's, Roarks Pharmacy, Vantage Point Financial, Farm Bureau agent Nick Price, the Scott Morgan Farmers Co-op. Oneida Mayor Lori Phillips Jones and Huntsville Mayor Dennis Jeffers will once again be presenting fans of the game, and as well as Hillwood Foods and Trophy Masters. And want to thank all those folks. And of course, several of those will be sponsoring this roundtable every week as well, including one that I did not mention, and that is Little's Drugs and Fountain. They are the segment Tim Smith of the first segment of the roundtable. And I mention your name because I know you like to go there sometimes on Monday. It's Cabbage Soup Day.
Roundtables are Monday. Monday is Little's Cabbage Soup. I think it all goes together.
I think we can safely say it's the premier lunch spot in Huntsville. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
All right. So you'll hear us mention their name a lot throughout the course of the season on Monday nights as well. So thank you to all of our sponsors. There is still time to jump on board. If you're interested in getting your business involved with us and what we do, you can contact Stuart Jones. He'd be more than happy to take your call. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk soccer on the roundtable. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. We are live from the C. Michael Lake Technology Center in Helenwood alongside Oneida soccer coach David Blevins, Scott High soccer coach Caleb Ball. I'm Ben Garrett. And, gentlemen, first of all, on the eve of the season opener, thank you all for being with us. David, you're getting ready to start year 2. And, Caleb, you're getting ready to start year number 1 at the helm. So, since you've been here, this is kind of old hat for you. I'm going to start with Caleb. And, Caleb, first year as a high school head coach, but, of course, not your first year as a coach. So, for those who might not know you, introduce yourself. Tell folks who you are. Scott High alumnus, obviously, and former coach at Huntsville Middle School.
I started coaching soccer 2 years ago when I first started teaching. Fell in love with coaching soccer then, and when the opportunity presented itself, I put my name in the hat and ended up getting the job.
So, how does it feel following in the footsteps of a guy who has done it for as long as Eric Henry had done it? And I don't even know exactly how long it is, but more than 25 years, yeah. I know.
Well, they're awful big shoes to fill, trying to keep up with all the ins and outs, and anytime I got any questions, he's the first person I go to. He's very helpful with all that. Little things like, for example, today we were getting ready to get all the technical things ready for the game tomorrow, and I'd forgot to fill up sandbags, so I had to go get some sand, put some sandbags on the goals, and he's the first person I asked where the bags were, and he told me exactly where it was.
Now, since we're talking about following in Eric Henry's footsteps, I have to ask you this. How long until you get that first yellow card?
I'd say it probably won't be very long.
Okay.
I'm very adamant on the sidelines.
Well, then you will fit in right well with where he had the program. And Dave, for you, this is year 2 of coaching the girls and the guys at Oneida. So it's kind of, you're a seasoned old veteran now. And of course, before that, you were also in middle school at Winfield, coaching up there as you get ready for year 2 at Oneida. What do you learn from year 1 to year 2? Because you're, I guess, kind of, I don't want to say mentor, but in a way maybe, Derek Keaton. I know you've learned from him, and he told me before that it takes to year 3. Year 3 is when you really start to become a coach. Do you feel like that you grow?
Oh, definitely. Every year you learn something new, you develop in. And even like, the middle school time I was coaching up through Winfield and then through the Oneida Middle School program, coming into the high school program was a different type of ball game. The kids are great. And Derek has been awesome about it. He still lends a hand to me when I need something, just to kind of get some advice, maybe some direction. Phil Newport also, I reach out to him from time to time, say, hey, what were you doing in this situation? And, of course, Amanda, who helped him, who gives me a lot of guidance in that area as well. But as far as, the growth, year 2 is it's a little bit of a breath of fresh air. It's, the first season I was scrambling, just head under the water, just trying to keep my nose up. And this year, I by no means have it figured out, but definitely feel a little more comfortable about it. And I would say Derek's exactly right. And I don't tell him I said it, but he usually is. Yeah. But year 3, I assume, will be more of an equal landing. I'll feel a little more comfortable, get the shoes kind of situated.
All right, let's talk about your teams. And as I look at both of your teams, one thing that stands out is you're young. And you probably more so than Caleb. Caleb has more seniors than you do. You've got 2 seniors on your squad, and both of you have a ton of freshmen, which can be, can make for some growing pains this year if you're going to rely on those freshmen, but it also pays dividends down the road. So talk about your team, how you're going to lean on those seniors, and just from last year to this year, what you expect that transition to be like.
Well, number one thing is you always speak with your seniors. Those are the leaders of your team. You want to incorporate a culture that they are leaders. They're presenting the example. Everything from work ethic to how we structure ourselves on the field, even just the little things like how do we get things done in practice time, preparation for a game, and also obviously when we're talking about game situations, they're leaders on the field. They help to present open opportunities, teaching these young ladies who are coming in. We have 2 seniors, as you said, just a handful of juniors, and then you're looking at like 9 and 8 in our freshman sophomore classes, and these girls know who's been there. They're veteran, who's seasoned, and these girls know that when I'm in help, when I'm in need and I need some help, those are the girls you reach to, because these ladies up on the upper 2 echelons, they know exactly what to do. And obviously they're still young ladies, they're still learning. They're one of the first ones who come to the coach, say, Coach, we're not sure what to do here, and they feel more comfortable making that kind of query and saying, hey, what can we do? And then they carry that over to your younger ladies on the field. And that's a massive advantage, having girls that the younger girls respect and they look and listen to.
And, of course, we should probably mention those 2 seniors. I don't know that I could do it for Scott High, but 2 names, they're easy to keep up with. And so Larissa Jones and Cameron Stilton are your 2 seniors. And as I swing your way, Caleb, like I said, I think you've got 4 seniors. And so if I tried to name them, I can name a couple, but then I would leave someone out. But like Dave, you lost a lot from last year in terms of senior leadership, and obviously that wasn't your team last year, so you're not as familiar probably with what you've got coming back and what they contributed last year. But first of all, how do you rely on your seniors, and then how do you plug in the holes that you lost to graduation?
When I first took it over, the seniors were really like the guidestones to everything we did. The questions that I had that maybe were not needed to ask Coach Henry, I asked them, like where the stuff, some of the jerseys were left and all that. They've been great leaders. The leader of that group, I would say, is probably Haley Butler. She's a terrific leader. She follows every order you give her. She'll start soccer practice. If I have to take care of something, lead it herself. And everybody follows those 4 seniors, and exactly what they tell them to do, they do it.
All right, so as you guys get ready for, well, let me ask you this first. Let me back up and ask both of you this. We talked about the seniors. Talk about your underclassmen. What are you expecting out of your underclassmen? Start with your juniors and then go down the list. And I talked about the fact both of you have got a lot of freshmen. Yep. How much are you going to lean on those freshmen this year?
A few of them are fighting for quality time with the varsity. 2 of them tomorrow night are going to get a lot of time. We've had an injury to one of our seniors, so that's the freshman's going to step up in her place. The other freshman is not really played goalie before, but she's going to step in and she's looked good over the summer and playing her there. She's going to step in and try to do that tomorrow night.
Okay. Dave, how about it?
Oh, like I was kind of saying before, we have a lot of underclassmen that they're reaching in. They're filling in holes that we obviously can't fill with your upperclassmen, and they're doing a magnificent job of it. They know that they've got some big shoes to fill with losses like, Jillian. We lost Jillian last year, and we lost Presley Queener on that one and several others. And they know that they've got big jobs to take hold of, and they're making valiant efforts. We've got actually about 3, I think, brand new to soccer girls right now that they come out and say, Coach, I don't know anything about the sport. And I said, this is how you learn. We get out there, and just like you're mentioning, those seniors stepping in, they've been awesome. I've heard Cam Stiltner today actually in practice saying, hey, just do this, look to the inside, giving her constructive advice and stuff like that. Larissa on the back line saying, hey, let's work these lines up and kind of coordinating them. And all of the underclassmen are respectful, and they listen, and they're working hard. I've been really proud of the ladies, knowing that there's a big hurdle they have to overcome. And we even said it in practice one time, you're one of 2 types of athletes. You're either going to be the athlete who sees the obstruction, some type of hill to climb, and you go, oh, that's too much, or you're the one who says, what's it going to take to get over this mound? And these girls they're overtaking this mound. They're looking for it. They take the challenge, and they're looking to go forward.
So as you look down the road and the season in front of you, and of course tomorrow night you start in Knoxville against Carnes, which will be a challenge of itself.
Yes, sir.
But I want to talk about your district. You lose a formidable foe this year in Kingston. They're no longer a part of. You played Kingston as a non-district game,
Yes.
but you don't have to contend with them anymore as far as playoff seeding and all that. What does your district look like in your eyes? How do you feel like your team factors into the race?
I think we have a really good chance in the district this year. Without Kingston last year, we would have been district champs. We would have come through much easier. But Oliver Springs is no, short-legged animal. That's going to be a tough game, and we're looking forward to it. They still have the Moss twins on their team. They're going to be something that they rely on heavily. We just have to do like we did last time. First time we lose to them, we go into the tournament and we double down on it. We just get a little aggressive. We play our game. We do the best we can. I think it's definitely a winnable game. Looking at, how we have been in the past and what we're looking at right now. Of course, Rockwood is a game that we have to always be ready for, to chew at. Eagleton, always a well-dedicated and organized team. All of the teams in our district are, adversaries you don't want to take for granted. You want to go in there ready, always respecting your opponent, but with an optimistic mind that, we're going to take away a win tonight, every time.
And Caleb, as you get set to go tomorrow night, you've got Campbell County at home, and I know there's nothing that you and your girls would like better than to beat Campbell County to get this thing started. But looking further down the line, I don't think your district changed any from last year. You've got Anderson County, Clinton, Union County, and is Gibbs still a part of it?
They
okay,
are.
so no changes from last year. How do you see the district shaping up, and where do you see your team in that mix?
If we come out and play the kind of soccer that we've been playing, we come out aggressive and fast, I like our chances with anybody. If our midfield, which we're relying on a senior and a junior in that, if they come out and play how they should, they do their job well, I think we'll have a chance against anybody.
So you're getting ready for game number 1 at home tomorrow night, 6:30, by the way, for anybody who wants to come out and watch. Any nerves as a first-year head coach, at least at the high school level? Any nerves, or is it just a businessman-like attitude?
I think it's me especially. I'm ready to go. I hope they are. But when we get out there, that might change everything. When we get under the lights, they might all come out to play or come out to not play.
Coach Henry used to talk about his team's preparation, and sometimes he really liked his team's preparation during these hot days of summer, and then sometimes he really didn't like his team's preparation. How do you feel about your team's preparation?
The past week, the weather's been real hot, so it's been a little bit harder. But when we do go through anything this past week, they've been going 100 miles an hour. When they mess up, they're messing up fast, and that's what I've been trying to tell them. There's a lot of new girls, like Coach Blavin said. I've got a lot of new girls on my team, too. They've never played soccer, and when they mess up, I try to tell them, make sure you're messing up going 100 miles an hour, because I don't want you to mess up not going 100 miles an hour. It looks a lot worse on you.
How about it, Dave? I know there's no butterflies over here. I mean, this is old hat for you. But how about your team? You like your preparation? You think your guys are ready to go? Your girls are ready to go tomorrow night?
Ready to go, sure. We've done a lot of prep. We've done a lot of practice situations and drill-like scenarios. Fully developed, of course not. We grow as the season goes on. We will improve it with every game. Even the Anderson County play date going in there, that was a different team from the start to the finish. I had a couple ladies in particular that just, man, the skills that they developed, the confidence they grew into that, I was very impressed. I look for them to continue to grow and to just build up their team morality, build up the morale in general. And I think we'll be ready. We'll be prepared. If not, then we'll fight every second of the game.
All right, so let me ask you about the health of your team, and I'll start with you. Any injuries right now to worry about? Are you healthy?
All in all, mostly healthy. We have had apparently wisdom teeth removal has been the trend.
Three players, right?
3 players on my team, my daughter included, decided to have their wisdom teeth removed. And so, we're still recovering. We've got 2. Actually, the third one got cleared today. So that's a benefit to get those players back on, but then we got to catch them back up. They've missed practice. They've missed conditioning and, the team coordination. So we're getting them back up to speed with the rest of the team. We have one girl with a hurt arm. It's actually a bone contusion of some sort. She's pretty badly bruised. She was a keeper for our JV, so we're looking to get her back. And then we've got another young lady who's got a hurt ankle, and she twisted it just rolled it pretty good, but she's on crutches. Hope to have her back in a couple weeks. Most of our starting lineup is going to be, pretty well ready to go. We just want to see those other ladies get healthy and get back on the field and contribute their part.
How about it, Caleb? I know you've had some dings and stuff, and you mentioned one of your seniors, which will be Emily Flady. I saw her in a boot.
Yep.
But what's the overall health of your team like?
Emily Flady's in the boot. We've had a few ankle twists here and there, but other than that, we've been pretty healthy, and they're competing every day, so I'm proud of how hard they compete and how they're taking care of their bodies.
any timeline for Flavy to get back in your lineup?
She's going back to the doctor at KOC tomorrow, and we'll see.
So hopefully a good report there.
I'm hoping so.
All right, now I got to ask you guys this, and so you start off with 2 road games, and then you get Sevier County at home next Tuesday, 1 week from tomorrow night. You'll play your first game. For folks that maybe they don't go to every single game because they're not diehard, a parent or grandparent or whatever, and they want to come out and watch you play next Tuesday, Sevier County, first home game. I don't know who put your schedule together. Was that you, or did Eric Henry do this before he left?
Coach Henry did it before he left.
Well, he set it up nicely for you
He did.
Until the end of the season when
Yeah.
you're on the road all the time. But
Yep.
your first, 6 games are at home, I think? So
Yeah.
you don't have to go. You don't have to travel for a long time.
No, and I think the first game we travel, I think, is to Clinton, so it's not a very far drive.
But there's one in particular that I'm looking at, and it's next Thursday night, and it's good. It's always good for the gate. Usually it's unless maybe it's a postseason game, it's usually the best attended game of the year. That, of course, is when you guys play each other. Now, I'm right about that, right? Next Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so talk about that. Soccer has really served as a model, and of course softball plays, and I think even baseball played each other, and basketball's done it a couple of times, but soccer has really been the model year in and year out. These 2 schools play one another. This will be your first time playing Oneida. You've done it. You've been there and done that.
Yep.
On the girls and boys side. But talk about that game and about that rivalry and about your approach. Is it any different than any other game?
No, we approach that the same way. The only real difference is the atmosphere we want to conduct at the end of the game. I never want to walk away from a game. Our rival is just down the road. And most of these kids know each other. They're friends. They go to eat at McDonald's together. They hang out. They do pickup soccer together. I want them to walk away still friends. But at the same time, when we go into the game, I say, okay, with the girls, ladies, here's what we do. With the guys, here's what we do. I want you to go in there. You play your best game. Just like they're anybody else. You play the best game you've got. And then after the game, you go meet your friends. And as a matter of fact, after the boys' game, real tight game, amazing match, 1 point difference. I looked at the boys were all in a huddle, and I said, okay, boys, you played great game, everything worked out. I said, why don't you go hang out at McDonald's? Go somewhere, play a little game or something. Have some fun together. I was very proud of them because afterwards I found out they did. They went out town. They went out to eat together. They were laughing, having fun with the ladies last year. We walked away, Eric and I shaking hands, smiles on our faces. It was a tie game, perfect way to end. Nobody was upset. Nobody was all tore up. And people were taking pictures together. You saw, Scott High, not a player side by side, pictures being taken. I want them to walk away friends. I want to play absolutely the best we have, but then walk away still being friendly to each other.
How about it?
It won't be a different approach for us for any game like that. Most of the thing I'm going to try to get through their heads is it's a game. They're right down the road. We need to make sure we can stay level-headed no matter what happens. I have a few hot heads, and I'm afraid I might have to get on a little bit. But other than that, I think we'll be all right.
All right, let me ask you guys this, and I'll let you all hit the road. I know it's been a long day, and you've had practice, and you're tired. Friday night, both football games are at home, and there will be crowds. There will be a crowd at Jim May Stadium. There will be a crowd at Highlander Stadium. Folks will turn out for those games. Y'all already know where I'm going with this. Tomorrow night, of course, you're on the road, so it's different for you. There won't be as many people there. What do you do? And I think more people probably care about soccer now than ever have before. It's growing. Every year it grows a little, but there's still this huge gap. How do we close that gap? Because I'm going to tell you this. So look back at last sports season. Of course, Scott High girls won a district championship, first one in almost 30 years. That's hard to replicate anywhere else. But if you take that away, the most exciting sports last year didn't happen in a football game. To be honest with you, it happened. I can tell you both of them happened. For Scott High, it was in the spring. Scott High beats Kingston with 1.7 seconds, I think, left on the clock. And, of course, Kingston's a big rival. If you play at Scott High, you want to beat Kingston no matter what you're playing in. And for you guys, it was last fall when you go down to Oliver Springs in that district semifinal game and win the sudden death I think it was on the shootout that you beat Oliver Springs after they had beaten you. I mean, that's high stakes. Both of those games, exciting. So if you got a message to folks that might be watching and they're going to go to the football game on Friday night, but maybe they don't consider going to soccer, what do you say to them?
I say give it a shot. If you've never been to a soccer game, give us a fair chance at it. It's a very quick game. The scores don't read as high. I think that's one thing kind of have a misconception about. It's a 2-1 game. How could that possibly been? The thing is the possession, the control, the play on the field, all that's high intensity. It's never a sit still anything. It should always be flowing. And I think if you're watching that and you're paying attention to it, invest in it a little bit, you'd love the game.
And, yes, so I didn't used to understand soccer. Then when my kids decided they wanted to play at the ASO level, I had to learn the rules of soccer. And once you understand the rules and the intricacies and all the strategy and all that, then it starts to come together.
Yes.
And it really is a beautiful – they call it, the simple game?
The beautiful game.
The beautiful game, I'm sorry, and beautiful in its simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is. It's a beautiful game. Caleb, how about tomorrow night? You're going to be at Sky High under the lights. Jumbotron's going to be on for the first time. The turf's still relatively new. It's going to be a great opportunity for folks to show up and support the Lady Highlanders.
I'm on the same page as Coach Blevins. Give it a try. If you don't understand what's going on, try to learn it. It's a great sport. Helps out a lot of people. Gets a lot of people. When you're playing soccer, especially when I'm playing soccer, my mind just goes free. I don't worry about anything else. That's a good thing for a lot of people to do. I've been trying to get my girls to tell everybody to come out to the games because they deserve a crowd too. They work all summer just like football does. They deserve a crowd just as much as they do.
All right, so soccer really is a great spectator sport. I know the kids would love to have the support there for you guys tomorrow night against Campbell County. And, of course, for you guys tomorrow night on the road at Carnes, but then especially next Tuesday night at home against Sevier County, these kids would love to have your support there in the stands. It makes a lot of difference to the kids playing the game. All right, Oneida Coach David Blevins, Scott High Coach Caleb Ball, thank you guys for joining us. Good luck to both of you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to Oneida football coach Jimmy May.
Welcome back to the roundtable. Coach May is on his way, we think. We're expecting him, so hopefully he's on his way. If not, we're going to make our way through and talk to some of the Indians here. So I have with me Ben Gilbert to my left and Jesse Zachary to my right. And these guys are both two-way players. But we're going to start first talking a little bit about defense and Oneida's defense. Of course, the defensive coordinator is Mark Martin. He's in, I believe, his second year as the defensive coordinator, maybe longer than that.
Yeah, maybe a little longer.
Okay. Sometimes time gets away from me. But so defensively, of course, Ben, you're at linebacker. Jesse, you're putting pressure on the quarterback. Talk to me, Jesse, first about the defense this year and getting pressure on the quarterback, getting a push on the line. How are things looking in the early going?
Well, we look pretty good. We return a lot of guys, so obviously it's good every year when you return that many people. We've got a lot of dudes that's played for not just 1 year but multiple years, so we look pretty good pretty much everywhere on defense.
Pretty stiff schedule ahead. Looking at the teams that you're going to play in the region, you're familiar with them. I mean, there's one new one, but you played them the last couple of years. Eagleton comes in. You got Polk County. You got Tellico Plains. Is there anything that is similar in those teams that you have to watch out for?
A lot of teams that we play in the region and stuff, besides Eagleton, they like to run it, getting sets like wing tee and all this other stuff, and they just like to try to pound it. So you really just can't let them get a free play and break one for 70, 80 yards.
Okay, Ben. Now these are teams that it was close games. Last year, Eagleton was the biggest deficit. It was 13-0. You were able to shut them out. But the other two games, the other two teams got the wins in those after you had beaten them the year before. But these were one-score games. So how big is just every single play in a game against a team that's just one score difference?
Yeah, it means a lot. We saw it Friday night versus Macquarie County. We just one play and they were already down at the end of the field and ended up scoring on us. But yeah, everything matters. And me and Coach Martin talked about it today. You're walking on a thin wire when you're on defense. One guy messes up. I mean, it all goes downhill.
So talking about Coach Martin and defense, talk to me about how comfortable are you now that you've been in his defense for some time? Do you still have to think about things, or is it pretty much instinct now for you?
Yeah, some things have come to me easier. It's just like just kind of expanding on what he's installed and what he's taught me. We just kind of expand with it now.
And I talking about a linebacker, you got to be able to stop the run. You also got to be there to defend the pass. Do you feel like you're better at one over the other?
Run for sure. We play such a run-heavy schedule. It's all I do, and so my pass drops. I'll get lazy on it sometimes, but there's certain weeks where you got to focus on it more than others.
All right, Jesse, in the off season as a defensive end, what have you done to make yourself a better defensive end going into 2025?
I've really just tried to get more explosive off the ball. Try to get a quicker and longer first step, that makes it that much easier to beat a tackle. And if you watch the best edges in college and NFL, high school, everybody's just got such a quick, long first step. So that's really what I've worked on the defensive side of the ball this offseason.
So what do you think defensively right now? We've got a game Friday night, but throughout this season, what is the area of the defense that you feel like needs to improve from last year's defense?
Honestly, I think just all around. I think everybody can always improve, and I think last year we had some sloppy games, but this year we're much improved, and so that'd be my answer to that. Is I think everybody can always improve. So I'd say just everything.
All right, Ben, you had a lot of fought through a lot of injuries last year. Are you feeling pretty healthy now going into this one?
Yeah, I'm feeling good now. It was a long time on the cast last year. It was actually all season. I think I did it in week 1 versus Rockwood, so it was a long time coming. But yeah, I'm finally back full strength.
So if you were going to say, I'm most proud of this defense from last year to this year in the way that we do what?
Rally to the football. We had a couple plays Friday night, I thought, where we just had a lot of hats on the football. One ended up in a scoop and score touchdown just because of the fact we had so many guys rallying to the football.
Okay. Now we're going to flip over to offense. So, Ben, you were telling me you're going to be in the backfield some this year. What are your main duties?
I don't know. Just get my 3 or 4 yards. If I get something better, then I guess Coach May will be happy
So
with me.
Are you the speed back out to the corner?
No,
or are you plowing ahead?
Not the speed back. That'll be cool.
Okay. All right. So have you enjoyed? Are you getting more? You're getting more reps than offensively?
Yeah. I've enjoyed it.
You're excited about that?
Oh yeah.
All right, Jesse. What about you offensively? What?
I went to tight end this year. I had a few receptions the other night, so obviously I'm excited about that. I like the style of offense that we're running right now. I think it works great for us, and I think we're gonna have a lot of success with it. So we'll see how it goes.
Do you ever try to talk them into just that tight end in motion, hand off, and you get to sweep around? Any of that?
Yeah,
in there
you could always ask Coach May. I'm all the time trying to hit stuff at him and try to get him to run certain stuff for me.
Okay, well, now I don't know the record for receptions for a tight end for Oneida, but you could go for that. A lot of times the middle's there.
Yeah.
So hopefully you'll be able to make some noise in there. So what are you looking forward to most in this season? What do you feel like is going to be the benchmark of this was a successful season if this happens?
Honestly, like I said, I think our offense is much improved. I think it's much better. I think our defense is much improved and much better. So realistically, I think we'll play a lot better this year, and I think we'll win a lot more football games and hopefully go very, very far in the playoffs. That's always the goal. But I think as a whole, we're much improved. So I'm just looking forward to winning.
Ben, kind of the same question. What does a successful 2025 look like for the Oneida football team to you?
Just staying healthy, in my opinion. I mean, last year we were barely making it by. So I think if we stay healthy, that hopefully things will take care of themselves.
All right, and so I won't ask you to tell me what opponent you're most excited about, but let's just talk about the first opponent that's coming up, and that's Rockwood this week. The Indians used to be. It seemed like every other year Rockwood would win, Oneida would win, back and forth, back and forth. You got a couple on them now. What do you feel like Friday night going into that one? What are you thinking about?
Just the same thing. Just don't want to be 0-1. That's not the way you want to start the season. We haven't done it the past 2 years. You hope to keep it going, but it's just another game. You just gotta take it the same way you take every other one.
Yeah, kind of started out as a back and forth last year. I kind of went back and rewatched that a little bit, but then you guys kind of asserted in the end and made sure. What do you feel like you have to do to take care of Rockwood this Friday? I
think we just have to play discipline. Honestly, I heard they're coming out in a little bit different offense than what we're used to seeing them come out in. But you never can be too careful with them. They'll run it, and try to throw one over your head. I just think we have to limit mistakes, and I think we'll be just fine Friday night.
All right. It's not long. It's coming up on us soon. All right. We're going to get these guys out and get a couple more folks in. So I want to thank Ben Gilbert and Jesse Zachary, and hopefully we'll be seeing you guys back here sometime throughout the year as we go along. We've got all kinds of opportunities for that. Scholar, athlete. We've got the First National Bank Player of the Week, all of these things. And so I doubt if this will be our last visit, but thank you guys for coming. We're going to have Coach Jimmy May and Brock Ryan and Grady Keaton coming up next. Welcome back to the round table, and joining us now, Coach Jimmy May of the Oneida Indians. Also, Oneida's quarterback Brock Ryan's with us, and receiver Grady Keaton. And we continue on the round table tonight, looking at the Indians. And Coach May, first of all, thank you for joining us. And it's a big season ahead, 2025. It's a schedule that I kind of have looked at that, and I thought, you didn't have to do that, but you put some tough competition on there. I mean, bringing Bledsoe County back and these type of things. it's a challenge every week.
Yeah, it is. Well, I had to find 7 games, so trying to put people in those slots, you had to act fast because that schedule came out on Monday. I had 9 games scheduled by the time I had gone to the basketball game that night, still trying to find that 10th one, and it's really limited on who you can get at that time, and home and away, so it was tough to do, and still wanted to play Bledsoe. I tried to work them in there, and then we played 4 teams from the single A region all made the playoffs, so it's a challenging schedule, and it should get us ready for our region.
And it is you just look at the schedule, and there's a challenge each week, different challenges from each one. But looking at the season, so finishing 5-5 a season ago, but this year, you're in the playoffs, so that's not even something to be considering as far as like, are we going to be in? But it is a big difference in hosting a playoff game and going on the road in a playoff game, and in the separation between you and these 3 other teams, a 13-0 win over Eagleton, and then 1-score losses to Tellico Plains and Polk County. I mean, this is a toss-up, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be. We had a touchdown call back in both those games that could have tied the game up, and while we were battling all those injuries last year, and we fought, and we weren't satisfied being 5-5 and not making the playoffs, and of course we're in with 4 teams, but you want to be the 1 seed because in the bracket you want to get in, because this year it's different. I don't know if after the first round you play across the state.
Okay,
and,
I didn't know if it was first or second.
The second round you do. The first round you still play the same Region 1, but you want to get in a favorable bracket. Just want to get yourself in a good spot, but we're just focused on Rockwood and try to get that one and move on. But there's only 3 region games, and we don't play one in week 5, and then the rest of them's the 9th and 10th game. So it's a long stretch before you get to those teams.
You mentioned the injuries. You had an early on injury, and Brock's joining us now. And the Indians were going with a 2-quarterback system a year ago, and then Brock got injured. Brock, tell us about being able to come back and contribute this year, and your excitement to do that.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. It was a long recovery, but I'm excited to get back. Being the quarterback, but yeah. I'm excited.
You had to make a choice on when to have the procedure done last year, if I remember right, to decide whether to go ahead and do it and be ready for both sports this year or whatever. How'd you make that choice?
Well, I actually ended up playing a little bit of receiver last year before, help out the team long snapping just any way I could, because I knew I had a little bit of time before I had to do the surgery, but no, I just wanted to help the team out any way I could, put running receiver, whatever it was.
So what's it been like coming back? Is there any change? Does it feel like you're just right back where you were? Or?
Yeah, it was, like I said, it was long, but no, I think I'm back to about 100%, throwing the ball, but yeah.
A lot of times people talk about being able to see it from the sideline and you get a new perspective. Did you, while you were watching, not being able to participate while you were watching, did you kind of have some things snap in and learn more and think about things at that point?
Yeah, just what routes come open, how the play forms, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Coach, I went back and watched a little bit of the Rockwood game just to refresh myself here. And, of course, Grady, that was your first game for the Indians. And it was kind of a coming-out party for Grady there. That second touchdown was a big catch, and you turned yourself into a big threat this year. Do you feel like you've made an improvement from last year?
Yes, I think I've improved. I kind of got set back with the knee injury in the spring and summer, but I think I'm getting better each practice, and I think we're getting better as a team. Me and Brock are getting more chemistry, and I think I can be better this year.
All right. And, Coach, I'll ask you this, because if I were coaches coming into this year, I think I'd focus on Grady pretty good here. Have you got some folks that are going to benefit from maybe Grady getting more attention? What's that going to look like?
I think so. We got some other receivers that's going to be, play a lot. That's got to work to get open, and if they start to roll the coverage to him and so on, and we got very capable people that can operate. Brock basically gave up his baseball season to get back for football season this year. He had to make a decision there and to rehab, and he's a good baseball player, and he didn't want to miss it, but he wanted to focus on his senior football season, and he's been on track with the throwing. It's been some days it's been struggle, but he's almost back to where he was.
Who are some of those receivers that you feel like are going to maybe benefit from the attention Grady gets, that are kind of stepping up, that we'll see some names this year that we haven't had in the past?
Well, you got the Hill boys, Waylon Hill and William Hill. You got Rigger West that's going to be popping in there and playing. That's 3 of them that's played. They're all juniors. They're all playing the secondary with Grady, and we feel that's a strong point back in the back end of our defense. They're all athletic and can run, and have done a good job. And just trying to spread it out and try to ease the workload on them. And we've got a very capable offense, I think, to get people the ball and to spread it out and make it more of a team. And with your running backs, with Cole Meredith and Ben Gilbert back there, and I think we've got some depth at all those positions.
Yep. And the tight end told me he thought he'd have about 50 catches this year, maybe.
Did he? Well, Jesse and Drayton will probably have to fight over that one because they are after each other every day. So
yeah. Well, so the running game's a good shape. What about the line? Tell me about the line.
Well,
any changes?
When our injuries went down, the first 3 games we lost our left guard, left tackle to ACL injuries, and never had that happen. So some people had to step up and play, and so now we've got some seniors up there, Evan Cotton, Brady Burke. Jackson Cross is back from his injury. Brylan Strunk is playing his center now, and Reese Lamb and Colton Searcy are up there. So they all have experience, so that's helped because last year some of them got thrown in there and just had to play. And, I think that we've got a lot of experience on offense. We're an older team this year. We've got a lot of these guys back. Even some of the guys that were hurt are well, like Brock. And, we lost 3 guys in 1 game last year for the season. That's but now we're all back, and if we can stay healthy, we'll give ourselves a chance.
Does it almost seem strange to have everybody healthy and available, and it's unusual, right?
From last year when we were, trying to plug in and trying to figure out what to do, and to have everybody back is good, and have a full complement. Like Grady was out most of the summer; he didn't come back till after the dead period, and with his knee, and Brock was not a full. He's on a throwing regimen, and we limited his throws on certain days, and trying to get him to this point so he's not got a sore arm, and he's it's time to play now, so he's got to go now.
Yeah. Brock, is there anything you feel like is something you still got to work on, you still got to get in season shape ready?
Yeah. As far as getting my footwork down, getting back into the rhythm of the game, I took a couple seasons off from injuries, but no, I'm excited. Just like I said, get my footwork down, just reading the field. But
okay.
Yeah.
What about reading defenses? Is that something that is coming easier, or?
Yeah,
or
me and Coach
say?
Terry talk, during school, but we talk, run over plays. What's my reads? What's my check downs? But yeah.
All right, Grady. What about you? What do you feel like you need to work on and improve as the season goes along?
Just running better routes. I can always get better at that, getting faster. Coach Martin's got us getting faster. Just learning new ways to get open, different things like that, block better.
Okay. And Coach May, just talk to us about you look at this schedule, you look at this season, and 2025. What's it going to take? What do you feel like has to happen for this to be a successful season for the Oneida Indians?
Well, we have to stay healthy this year, for one, and but I think we got to be able to run the ball better. We made a commitment, and I told them in the offseason we're going to be able to run the ball better than we have the last 2 or 3 years, and we're on the right path for that because we're more physical up front. I think we're bigger, and that only helps the passing game with our receivers and Brock if we can run the ball and play action. And I think we've got to be more balanced, than we have been the last couple of years. And I think that's the key because on defense we're pretty experienced. I think we'll be much improved and, hopefully be able to hold teams to stay in the game and give us a shot on offense. But I think we're going to be capable of, moving the ball and hopefully scoring some points and giving ourselves a chance to compete for the region.
When you talk about controlling the line of scrimmage, how do you feel you are on each side of the football right now with that?
I think it's probably maybe the best defensive line we've had since I've been back, as a head coach, with the defensive ends and with Drayton and Jesse, and then you've got Jackson Cross is filling in with Brady Burke starting there, and you got Evan Cotton coming in. You got Brylan Strunk. We got some down linemen. Reese Lamb's playing there, and of course then you got your linebackers in the middle with Ben Gilbert. He's made All-State the last 2 years, and then Maddox Hutcherson is now. And we think we're good on the back end. I think we're very athletic back there, and had some kids that's really developed and come on. And like Rigger West has really come on and stepped up and played hard. And the Waylon Williams been moved around, and Grady's in there now, and AJ Harper can come in there and play with us in the safety if we need to rest people. But we've got more depth, I think, now. And I think on the offensive line and defensive line, that's where you win games. I always talk to them about changing the line of scrimmage in the game. We're on offense, we want to make that line of scrimmage 2 yards down the other way, and same thing on defense. We want to stall them at the line, and not get pushed around up there, move that line of scrimmage and set a new line for us and let our linebackers run and make plays. I think we can run pretty well, and we're pretty athletic, so I think it gives us a chance right there if we can control the line.
So do you, and it may be both, I don't know, or it may be different depending on the team, but do you set up the pass with the run or set up the run with the pass, or does it depend on who you're playing and what they look like?
A lot of it depends on, what we're doing, who we're trying to play, what we've ran past, I've ran this, and now I need to have a play action off of it. I didn't run it this game. I need to set them up like that. And you try to have, a run, and, I try to have a pass off that run if we can. You want to get in a passing set. We like to get in a passing set and run the ball, too, if you can spread them out. And then, we want to be able to pass out of run sets. You got to kind of be balanced a little bit. And you got to use your athletes, I think. You got to get them all touch the ball a little bit and get them involved. And they play harder. They'll block for each other, and they know they – and right now we've had a good attitude this whole off season and in summer camp and getting ready for the game about just playing for each other. And I think that's a big change for us. I think we're going to, hopefully continue on that. And there'll be some rough patches, that. I mean, that schedule's going to be tough at times. And, if people's going to get banged up, we're just going to have to overcome it. But I think we'll give ourselves a chance to be successful.
Now, Brock, you haven't been able to go out there as a quarterback against these three region teams. Are there any teams you're looking forward to? Any certain games or aspects of the season that are coming up that you really are excited about?
Yeah, we got Bledsoe County's always been tough. It's been last couple of years. I'm excited to go out there and play them. Give them, I want to go out there and win. I want to go win every game, but that's a game I'm looking forward to. Tellico Plains, I think they got a little bigger on the line. Some stuff we've heard some stuff, but no, I'm ready. I'm ready for every game.
All right, Grady, you did play against those teams. What do you remember? Is there anything that differentiates Eagleton, Polk County, and Tellico Plains from some of the other teams, or things that you remember that you need to do to be successful against them?
I know Eagleton had they're kind of throw heavy a little bit. They had a good quarterback. I don't think they have him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Tellico Plains beat us by touchdowns, and so did Polk. I think we both got things to work on for those games. Just play a little bit better defense. I think we can contain them. I'm looking forward to playing them, and I'm just looking forward to playing them. I think we can take care of them.
Ready to go? It's been a while. So Rockwood, first game up, get that opening game. It's at home. Talk to us about this Rockwood team and what Friday night means.
Well, John Webb's going to be wing T. Whether he's traditional under center, but lately he's been a lot of in the spread, running the same stuff, running the buck sweep with his guards, and he's going to, he's not going to go too far from that. And he's got a good quarterback. He's a sophomore. He got hurt last year. Later on in the year towards ACL, but he's back and he can throw the ball. So he'll probably looking to throw the ball a lot more. But they'll be tough up front like they always are, and they'll be well coached. They won't beat themselves, and we'll have to line up. We'll have to line up and play. It'll be a hard fought game, and like it always is when we play them. So we'll find out, kind of where we stand after that. But we're looking forward to it. We've been working. I told them it's over now. All the lifting, all the summer, the 7-on-7s, the camp, it's game week now. And, in a few days we're going to be playing.
Right. So tell us about your assistant coaches. Just go down the line. Tell us each one and what their assignments are.
Well, Mark Martin, is the number one assistant, I guess, the defensive coordinator. Does a great job with the defense. He does the conditioning and the weight training in the winter. We've invested in some of the strength and conditioning. We measure certain kids about 20 their workload during practice and how fast they're running and try to see what we can work on there. Maybe we need to rest them. He does all that. Josh Terry coaches. He helps me on the offense. He coaches the wide receivers and defensive backs, and does a good job with those guys. Chad McDale helps with the defensive backs. Mike Keaton coaches the tight ends for us. When he's and then Creighton May is helping with the defensive ends. He does that. Jason Pike's new this year. He's come on to help us. He's been there for a long time. And he's back helping coach football. He's good in the linebackers and the running backs, doing a good job there. He's also in charge of the kick team. Stephen Burris is, helping with offense, doing the offense and defensive lines. So that's kind of where we are right now. And everybody's got a job, and we're all working together. And I don't think any of us were satisfied with last year. The way it ended, and we're anxious to get back out there Friday night.
So if Jesse doesn't get 50 receptions, that's on Mike Keaton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was just making sure
him and Drayton fight today who was going to get in the huddle. And I just took both of them out and put another one in there. And you know, they're both very competitive. And it's been good for each of them. To be honest with you, they push each other in practice, and it's kind of good to have. I guess Brock would agree to have two big tight ends in there that can unblock and catch passes too, and that's helped us on the offensive line.
So it's almost here. Can you put into words how excited you are to get to Friday and see what's going?
It's been a long off season. I'm not gonna lie to you. Try to get back to this point, and it seems like it was a long road, and all of a sudden now it's here. You get tied up doing things, and now it's back to football Friday night. Everybody in the state's gonna be playing, and hopefully we're one of those 50% of the teams that's gonna be 1-0. We're all excited. The kids are excited. It's the summer camp's over and the scrimmaging. It's time to play, and it's what everybody looks forward to.
All right, Coach. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I want to thank Brock for being here. Good luck, Brock. Stay healthy, all right? Grady, glad you're back. You stay healthy. And I'm excited. Friday night, Rockwood. We'll have the broadcast for you on IHSN. And Rick Keaton and Billy Hall and the Scott Highlanders are coming up next for their preview as you've been watching the IHSN Roundtable.
Welcome back into the Roundtable. Right now, I'm joined by Highlander head coach Billy Hall. We've got two seniors here. On that side, Keegan Boland. On this side, Gus King. They've both promised they're going to be really interactive tonight, and they're going to ask me questions. So that's how excited we are to have Coach and the two players here with us tonight. Coach, first thing I want to get into, and we talked about it a little bit when we opened the show tonight, this is your first time to design the schedule that you have this year. And sometimes it can be a little bit of a challenge, and I know it was a challenge for you. But we've got the 5 new region, and they're not new region opponents. 3 of them are new region opponents, and the other 2, Austin East and Kingston. But how did you fill out the rest of the schedule this year?
I'll be honest, my phone rang off the wall for about 3 hours straight, and that's how we kind of just plug and place from there and made it work.
Let's talk about the region opponents. Of course, you got Austin East and Kingston, very familiar with those two schools.
Yes, sir.
Then we've got McMinn Central, we've got Meigs County, and we've got Sweetwater, teams that we don't know a whole heck of a lot about. But of those 5 teams, 4 of them were in the playoffs last year.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I know we lose Alcoa, but it's still, week to week in the district, and you're going against somebody that can make a run.
And I think all of them think they could be potential playoff teams this year. What do you like about the team? And I want to start first of all with the seniors and the leadership that they provide. Not only these 2, but other seniors that's providing leadership for you.
The best thing I like is just how close this team is together. And then they show up every single day. They don't complain, and they just go to work. Like ever since we started lifting back in whenever it was, December, January, whenever it was, they have attacked every single day with the right mindset and a great attitude and just attacked it.
Well, now I want to ask the 2, because basically we've got a defensive player and an offensive player. We'll start with Gus. Gus, who are the leaders on the offensive unit? And you can be a senior, you can be a freshman. I don't think you've got freshmen playing on the offensive unit there like that, but who are the leaders on the offense this year? Who's been the driving force behind your team working out and getting ready this season?
I would say definitely Wyatt Lloyd and Gage Pruitt.
Good combination of guys there like that. And how about the defensive side?
For me, I'd definitely say it'd be Desmond Bowling and probably Micah Bowles.
Desmond's one of those guys I really like because he's got a motor that goes 110% all the time, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Plus, he smiles when he's tackling you, too. That's the thing I really like about that. Coach, let's talk some about newcomers to the team, because you've got some players that have been in the school but they haven't played football, and you've also got some transfers. So let's talk about them just a little bit, and maybe something about the impact we hope that they can have meshing with the current roster that you already had coming back.
Yes, sir. So we got Jagan Morgan and Wyatt Lloyd from basketball, Justin Lynch from Oneida, Braden Birchfield from Oneida. I know am I missing anybody? Sawyer Barnes. Is that about it? I can't remember. I'm awful with it. But the best thing that they bring us is just, Jagan and Wyatt bring us a threat on the outside. They, that type of threat we've not had in a long time, where we can just give them the ball quick and just let them go make something happen. They're a threat for us to just throw a 50-50 ball up and let them go get it.
You know, and then Justin being a threat from, like, I mean, crap, we get to the 40-yard line, we can kick it.
Mhm.
You know, and him giving the kickoff and everything like that, like, he brings us a different dynamic. And then Braden Birchfield, you know, he gives us another guy that's as smart as his dad's been playing inside the box, flies around, can hit you, can play in some pass coverage.
Well, that's interesting. I was going to talk about Justin Lynch. I call him a kicking specialist, basically. And the question I was going to ask, you know, what's his range? Did you answer that? Say
he made 2 from 55 today. That was good by about 2 or 3 yards. But then, you know, there are days, you know, I mean, I've seen him pretty consistent from 50. So he can kick the crap out of it. That's for sure.
So do we call him a specialist? Is he going to be your punter also?
Him and Stanley are kind of split time punting. Yeah.
Let's talk about the impact. I think that you've got the 2 linebackers inside. I'm going to sort of shove this over to Keegan. You got these 2 guys playing in front of you, Braden Birchfield and Desmond Bowling. And I've watched every scrimmage. I've been there. I've paid attention. They do a good job. They plug holes, but they really do good from inside out, getting all the way to the sidelines. Let's talk about them just a little bit and what they bring is this dynamic duo, I think, as linebackers.
Desmond, I mean, he don't care. I mean, he'll go up, he'll hit anybody. And he's really, like, he's probably our smartest guy on the team. And I mean, it don't matter. We can install something in a day. He'll know what's going on. And him and Braden Birchfield together, it's like both of them, they just always, like, connect. And it's like whenever one person's doing another thing, the other one's doing another. But they're just all the time both, like, doing their jobs. And, I mean, we've never had trouble out of it or anything.
I'm going to pose this to Gus. This is sort of what do you think about this combination? Because I like the combination. I like Keegan playing that defensive corner. I also like Michael Bowles back there at that free safety. You know, experience there in both of those positions. You go up against them in practice and stuff. What do you think about that part of the secondary?
Well, they're definitely good. That's first of all. You know, we got Keegan over there. You know, he beats me every time. We got Desmond. He'll hit you all the time. You know, and Braden Birchfield, I think he's kind of getting that mentality a little bit. But Micah, yeah, he's definitely, you know, it's really good.
I like Micah because I noticed it last year, and I think the other Coach Hall I talked with, I like the fact, and it may have been Coach Billy that I talked with about that, I like the fact that Micah has got this range back there in the free safety to cover sideline to sideline. I see him doing that quite frequently. Of course, I'm not on the field, but talk about that just a little bit and that dynamic that he brings and the experience that he has back at that safety position.
Well, he's played quarterback too, so you know he knows how to read the field, and he's got the speed to go make a play, and he's got the hands to do it. You know, and you know, I'm just really excited to see what he's going to do this year.
Like I say, I tried to pair up a pair of good combination players there on defense. Gus, what about the offensive line? What do you like about those fellas? Especially that starting 5, and then I'm going to ask Coach Hall to fill in some blanks there for me.
Well, like previous years, we would, you know, mess up and everybody would be screaming in the huddle and all this. But this year, you can see how everybody's like together and nobody's really getting on to one another, and you know, they're all just like working it out with each other. And you know, I think that makes us 10 times better at the end of the day.
Coach Hall, what you've got there is, I think, 5 pretty good linemen.
Yes, sir.
Now, the depth after that may be the question. I'll let you go there if you want to, but I think this line can move some people. In the scrimmages that you've had, I've seen good things in running the ball. I've seen good things in pass pro.
Yes, sir. The good thing is, like, realistically, it's our most experienced group on the entire team. Like, 4 of them have played, or really 3 of them, kind of Mason in there included being 4, but they've played more games and, like, meaningful snaps than anybody else on the team has. You know, Jaden Parra stepped in last year as a true freshman and, you know, held his own and played really well. I think the best thing about that group is, you know, when we started kind of back and winter lifting and everything, we challenged every one of them that they had to get in shape. Like, there ain't no more just leaning on people. There ain't no more taking 2 or 3 snaps off. Like, we're challenging you to go every single snap and go drive somebody. And, you know, I give credit to, you know, Coach Hall and Coach Stanley over working with them. And it's night and day different from last year to this year. Like, just their physicality off the snap, their effort and their intensity off the snap is completely different.
I want to give a little credit to Coach Privet, too, in the weight room through the spring. These guys have, they're impressive. Some of them, what they can bench, what they can squat, and so forth. But let's talk about the offensive line. I think out on the left tackle, it's Eli Kidd.
Yes, sir.
And then the guard inside him is going to be Mason Llewellyn?
No, it'd be Hayden Mason.
Hayden Mason.
Yep.
Okay. And then at center, you've got
that's Mason Llewellyn.
Mason Llewellyn.
Yep.
Okay. Then on the right guard, you've got who am I missing there? Caleb Bell.
Yes, sir.
And then outside of him, the player you just mentioned is a sophomore this year, Jaden Parra. That's from right to left, and those guys, they can push a ton.
Yeah, 100% they can.
What do you like about their preparation so far?
I think it's kind of just their whole mindset mentality about it is just that anymore, like it ain't okay if we get beat, or it ain't okay if I just lean on this guy in a double team. I'm just going to lean my shoulder. I think that's the big thing that's changed about them is just their whole mentality and mindset. Instead of like, if I'm going to double down, I'm going to double down and knock him off his spot. And if I go to backer, I'm going to get to backer and I'm going to drive him. I think that's the biggest difference in them.
Now, back in the spring, as I watched the offensive line, I thought, well, conditioning is a little bit of a problem. But now as I've watched 3 scrimmages that you've had, I think they have handled the heat. They've handled everything very well and looked to me like they have paced themselves well in a game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's go back to the receivers. I think this is one of the most athletic teams, basically, start to finish that we've got. But I really like Jacob Morgan, Wyatt Lowett. I like Lucas Newport, and I like Gus King. I like the receivers that you've got there, and the thing I like about them is they're pretty sure-handed, but then they concentrate on yards after the catch.
Yeah, 100%. And, I preach this the whole time. I'm like, we got to stop completing a pass for 5 yards and let's get tackled at 6. I'm like, we got to be able to turn a 5-yard catch into 30. We got to be able to turn a 10-yard catch into 50. Like, that's what we've got to start doing that way now it ain't like I got to drop back and I got to make a perfect throw to gain 30 yards, right? I can scheme them up and get somebody in space and throw it to him, let him go make a play. And this guy, I know I tell this group all the time, like, guys, it is so fun being able to call plays for these 4 dudes on a receiver. Because, like, every one of them can go run routes, can catch the football, and if they don't get it, they go block after the catch. And once they get the ball in their hands, they go make something happen, and it's fun to watch.
And by the way, Keegan can be one of those potential receivers
yes,
too. That like that. Not to shortchange you, Keegan. I wasn't going to do that. Not at all. But I like the idea that they can get yards after the catch, and they've got a good mindset about that.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that I really liked, I found out I'm the only one that likes this, was that game-type scrimmage that you had up at Clinton County.
Yeah.
Because everybody had to be sharp for 4 full quarters, just like it's going to be in the game. And then I really liked Michael Bond that night.
Oh, yeah.
And if he has a healthy senior year, what can we expect there? I mean, he is. Yeah, he's back one. He's not going to be out as a slot receiver much. He's going to be back one
now. Yeah. Man, Michael, every time he touches the ball, there's a chance it's going for 6. He has the home run playmaking ability from the time the ball snapped to the time it gets in his hands. Like, he makes some stuff happen that, like, you stand on the sideline watching, you're like, man, ain't no way. And then he makes 3 cuts and ain't nobody catching him. Like, he's a special kid. It's just if we can keep him healthy and if he just keeps going. Because I'm telling you, it's fun. He's another kid that's just fun to watch, because it's easy for me because I just call whatever run play we're running. I just stand there and watch him.
But here's the but. He's pretty good at catching the ball too, isn't he? On the flats and the screens and stuff like that. And if you can get some blocking in front of him or like that, big plays.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, that's the thing. I noticed the running build, but I've also noticed that he is doing a good job catching ball if you get it close to him or like that. It looks like the plan, and I think you've got the personnel to be able to platoon, fully platoon offense and defense, with the exception of maybe you're going to have to play a couple of your offensive linemen just to get more size on the defensive line. But let's talk about that. And I want to get your thoughts, and Gus and Keegan, we want to get their thoughts on being able to platoon, to get a little time to get a drink of, at least get a drink of water and for a few minutes on the sideline.
Yeah. So realistically, this whole idea came about really when we really sat down and we talked about like offensive scheme, what we wanted to do, and how I want to push the tempo. And it was like, okay, if I'm going to go crazy fast, we're going to have to find breaks for these guys. So then, you know, we kind of got sitting down. It was like, okay, like who can play where? And then it took us a whole 20 minutes. And we're like, man, like we ain't going to have nobody going both ways. And it was kind of an experiment during spring. And then like after the third day, everybody was like, no, like let's roll with it. I was like, okay. So then, you know, we're able to just then offensive, like I know I'm offense coordinator, but whenever the defense is on, I can take my offensive guys to the side and be like, okay, like this is what we're seeing. Like this is the front they're in. Like this is what we're going to do. And like same thing defensively, like when the offense is on the field, like, you know, Coach Privet and Coach Mason can bring them aside and be like, hey, like out of this formation, they're showing this. Out of this, they're doing this. And it helps us out a ton. And then the longevity that we can stay, like, not exhausted throughout games. And, like, I've noticed it big time in scrimmages. Like, we get halfway through the scrimmage and the other team seems like they're dying, and we're begging to go on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So it's helped us out a ton.
What do each one of y'all think about that? Gus, starting with you.
I think it's a good thing, you know, like if let's say you're playing both ways and you go out on defense and you wear yourself out and try to go play offense, you know, it's nice having backups that can, you know, come in and give you a break and all that.
And Keegan?
I think it's great. I mean, the last couple of years it's been like everybody that's out on the field was either playing offense, defense, or special teams. I mean, I know that's how it was for the last couple of years, but it's nice being able to like know that whenever you get tired or something, you have somebody that can come in after you, or you're not having to go out on like 50 different things because you have guys that are going to be good enough to get out there and do it.
And I like what you said, Coach, in the fact that we can take this group to the sideline. Yeah. We can make adjustments now instead of having to wait to halftime, or the end of a quarter, and you still only get 60 seconds in there to make adjustments there like that. I think that's going to really be good for the team. It's going to be good for the coaches. Now let's talk about the assistant coaches a little bit. Let's talk about each one of the coaches and their primary responsibilities.
Okay, we got Coach Privet, who's a defensive coordinator. Then he helps with or coaches linebackers and running backs. Coach Isaac Blakely does running backs and our tight ends. Running backs does linebackers and our tight ends.
There you go.
Coach Mason Owens does our entire secondary. Coach Bill Hall does O-line, D-line. Coach Adrian Stanley does O-line, D-line. John Hayden does all our special teams, helps with running backs, helps with safeties. Coach Birchfield does our receivers. And then I do quarterbacks and call the offense.
And that's an experienced unit other than Adrian Stanley, same coaching staff you had last year.
Yes,
so that provides continuity for the players. Am I right when I say that, Gus? It's good to know because you spent last year getting used to this group and you sort of know what to expect out of them. Do you have a favorite coach?
I don't know if I should answer that.
Go ahead.
Do you have a special coach there, Keegan?
Doesn't.
Okay, well, couldn't bait you there, could I? We'll talk after we go off air about that. Let's go back to the offensive and defensive line. First of all, we spent a lot of time talking about the offensive line. I think you've got the good makings there of an offensive line. Let's talk about the defensive line and what you want to play. If you're going to be a 4-3 team, if you're going to be a 3-4 look defensively.
We're going to be a 4-2-5. With certain formations and stuff, it'll look like 4-3 or 4-4. But D-line, we got there's a rotation kind of going of like it can be anybody on any snap. It's Houston Stanley, Braxton Potter, Mason Loyal in there at defensive end. There might be some more in there. I might be missing everybody, and then D tackle, we got a rotation of like Caleb Bell, Hayden Mason, and Eli Kidd, Kenix Parton, Mason Loudon will slide over some D tackle. Jesse Jeffers might slide to some D tackle. I think that's about everybody.
And that would sort of change from a starting standpoint, game to game.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, now I guess we need to put a little attention toward McCreary County. I saw them a little bit the other night in the Oneida scrimmage. Have you seen anything on them?
Yes, sir.
What should we expect out of them? What are you coaching your team to expect them to do offensively and defensively?
They're going to play really physical every snap, offensively and defensively. They try to dominate the line of scrimmage. And the thing is, like, they got some backs back that can run with some good speed. They got a really good receiver. They utilize their quarterback and run game. Defensively, their front 7 to 8 are really good, and they play really downhill and fly around. attack everything with speed.
Mm-hmm. We can't give away anything, so I'm not going to ask about your game plan. That'll be for Friday's pregame show there like that. But as you begin to think about Friday, how quickly it's gotten here. We just talked about that. It's here. Gus, Keegan, I think it's been great that you've had the 3 scrimmages. That keeps you from pounding each other. I'll practice 5 days a week or like that. But what's your thoughts? I'll start with Keegan this time. Gus, I'll take you off. What's your thought about Macquarie County, what the team needs to do to be successful?
The main thing for us, I played DB. We go through spurts where we'll play like really good in coverage, and then somebody might just like loft a 50-yard pass down the field. I think if we can stop it and not bust our coverages up, then we'll be good.
While I'm asking that question, you were coming off the knee injury last year. You battled. You wore a brace. You didn't like it. Yada yada yada. There like that. Feel fully healthy and confident in that because you've pitched the knee brace, right?
Yeah.
And you feel that you've got all the speed back and you're ready to be the number 1 corner?
Yeah, I feel great right now.
I'll be honest. Funny thing about that. When he came back off this whole thing and he was running around, I remember looking at everybody and be like, dude, he's never going to be able to play football again. Like, he can't walk without just looking crazy. And then, like, a couple months later, here he is going full speed, and I think he's faster than what he was. I think he's more dynamic than what he was, and I think he cuts better than what he did before.
And you were messing around last season in practices, probably late in the season, and you were going in man coverage. And might have been Lucas. I don't remember who the receiver right there, but I was standing on the sideline right there, and I said, Keegan, you're supposed to be a man? He said, yeah. And I said, get up here and muscle this guy. And he let go of him 10 yards out of bounds, something there like that. I mean, the possibilities there. Do you remember that at all?
Yeah.
I mean, I like to throw a challenge at him.
Absolutely.
Now, Gus, same question to you.
I just think we need to stay consistent the whole game. Coming out really hard and then just playing through the whole game like that.
How many points can this team average a game? 20 points, 30 points, 40 points a game?
Well, we're supposed to put 70 on them, but
well, I heard that. I was sitting back there, and I heard that rumor a while ago, and I was going to ask Coach Hall that question if he's going for 70. But let's not. We won't go there like that. But we would want to just take one game at a time. But that's the thing. In the last 3 or 4 years, cannot score enough points. We can play sort of good defense. But then something happens, and, we get 1 touchdown or 2 touchdowns, and we need that 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns a game. Do you feel this offense is capable of that each and every week?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I think we've really changed the simple mistakes, just not doing them as much and, putting ourselves in a hole and all that. So,
Billy, this is your 2nd year that you've worked with Gage Privet, the quarterback.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about his growth, his progression, and what you're trying to get out of him week after week.
Yeah, yes, sir. And kind of like Gus said, but like just being consistent, playing with confidence, playing with the mentality that like it doesn't matter what anybody does defensively, like we're going to be okay. Like never get too high, never get too low, just be that steady, calm, like be the clear for everybody. And then like also on top of it with that, like play with emotion, right? If you go get a first down and run somebody over, like be excited about it. Like don't just stand up and not say nothing, get back to the huddle. But I think the big thing with him is just, and I know we kind of talked about this last year, was like that first game against Cumberland County. I'm like, this is the worst Gage Privet will be. Because, like, his work ethic and his mentality to go about it every day, like, and he's grown already, like, even last year, you've seen it week in, week out, like, he was growing every week. Well, like, I think he took the jump this offseason where he's a completely different player than what he was last year. Like, I think it's night and day different, and, yeah, I'm excited to watch him.
He looks slimmer. I from a weight standpoint, I don't think he weighs any less. It's more muscle.
Yeah.
It's I don't want to say baby fat, but I've asked his dad about that. But I mean, he just looks stronger, more physical. And I know that you want to protect him, but in the scrimmages, he has carried the ball 2 or 3 times. He has learned to lower the shoulder, and in that last boom, he's laying it on the defense that's trying to make the tackle on. Okay. How much overall has the scrimmages helped the team to become more complete?
I think a lot of it is just getting used to playing in games. You know, because like we had a couple dudes that hadn't played since middle school that come into their senior year, now they're playing. I think they just needed reps. You know, like seeing it live, seeing it full speed, seeing it in action. Then same thing, like just offensively, like see how the flow of everything works. So if we run this, like the flow of like how the defense is going to attack it and like what we're going to do, like to counter it or whatever we're going to do to it. But I think that's a lot of it. And then defense, I think we finally got a physicality back that we've been missing for a while. You know, like we, set back, off season, like one of our goals and our challenges of defense is like we've got to be able to stop the run. Like until we stop it, like, go back to last year, like everybody just lined up to run the ball on us, and it gashed us most times. But like now I think we challenged them and they've accepted it and they have went to work. And now like for the last 3 scrimmages we've had, nobody really ran the ball on us. So I feel like I'm excited about that too.
And especially the, I guess it was the scrimmage you had maybe 3 weeks ago, the York scrimmage. York came off of a pretty solid year last year,
yes,
third round in the playoffs or something like that. And I don't know what they lost, but they didn't push us around. Now, maybe last year, in 2 or 3 or 4 years, just even in scrimmage, they would have pushed us around quite a bit. But I didn't see that happen. Rockwood, the last couple of years where you scrimmage them, they would just push us around. And we were quite successful against them last Tuesday. So does that reinforce what you just said? I mean, and as the players out there, guys, when you go out there and you see that we're having good success, we're pushing on the other team. Defensively, we're holding them right there. We'll give them up a yard or 2 on a run or something. What do y'all think about that? Does that lead you to think we can have a successful year?
Yeah, yes, sir, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know our goal is to win 10 games this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
100% positive?
Yep.
Okay. Nobody on the schedule that we have a fear of?
Nope.
Coaches are doing a good job then.
Hey, we're getting there. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
What does it mean to you to finally get to this Friday night? First of all, you're 4-year seniors.
Yep.
You've seen maybe bad, maybe ugly, good here or there, but what does it mean to you to be a senior, to finally be the dog that's wearing the captain's jerseys maybe on Friday night? What does it mean to y'all to get to this point in your own personal careers and how you want to be there and sort of push your teammates?
Well, everybody says high school flies by fast, It really has.
So, okay. There we go.
And, I don't know, just pushing the younger ones and, teaching them up before, we go and stuff so they can get, like, the full, learning about it and all that.
Keegan, what does it mean to you?
I just want to be a part of, us all just out there having fun and getting a couple wins under our belt.
I've not added it up, but just going over the roster a couple of days ago, I thought, senior. A lot of seniors on the team.
Yeah, I think we got 15. I think it's 15. 15 or 16, one of the two.
Yeah, and that's, 10 or 12 is the norm, so 15's good. Total roster, I was supposed to ask this question. Total roster, somebody told me earlier you had 60 on the team roster, and I'm thinking 49.
I think
who's closer?
We're sitting at like 57.
Okay.
I think was what it was today. Was 57.
Do you have enough dressing room cubbies to cover 57 kids? Okay.
No.
So that's a challenge there.
Yeah, we got a couple lockers with like 4 kids in them.
Yeah.
They're all piled in there. So.
The changes, the things that we've seen to Highlander Field, it's came during your careers.
Yep.
Let's talk about, I think it's been maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, brand new sound system. A couple of years ago, new lights. Last year, a turf field. This year, you're getting new concession stand. That's mostly for us and new restrooms. It's mostly for the spectators coming in there like that. But, guys, what about let me start with Coach Hall, you graduated, your last season was 2016, so you graduated in 2017. What are these changes in the growth and support at Scott High? What does that mean to you, the alumnus and former player, and now as a head coach?
Yeah, it's awesome. And, I can say this, but me and Mason, I guess we were in college both playing, and, you go around like the school you're at, and you go look at all the high schools and how their facilities are like top of the notch. They're playing on a great turf field. They got a jumbotron, they got massive stadiums, and then you come back home and you just sit there and you're like, man, I wish Scott High would get it. I wish somehow Scott High someday would get it. And I remember we would sit there and kind of joke around and be like, yeah, but it probably never happened. Well, then, when it happens, and for me and him to kind of, be coaching and go back and look at it, we're like, dude, it's awesome to even be a part of it. And, I'm happy we can get it done for these kids. They deserve it. They're there every day but 2 weeks out of the entire year. They're there, so they do deserve it. They're putting the work in. And I just think it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see the support from the community and everything.
Did I mention we're not calling it Jumbotron. It's a big video board of some kind, I guess. I didn't mention that, but that's new, and it's in play, and it'll be there on Friday night for our fans that's coming out to watch the game. So it's a home game. Game time 7:30, so we want to encourage everybody to get out. And I think is there advertising opportunities on the big board for
Yeah, so, I like to think, Chris Shelton and, my dad kind of heading the whole thing of getting that thing put together and getting done and everything. And I think Chris Shelton and Morgan Boyd are kind of going out and getting sponsorships and stuff for it to be on there. But, yeah, there's definitely opportunities for it.
Mm-hmm. So we heard the former player who had played on a field that was wet every Friday night. If it hadn't rained for 3 weeks, it was still wet. What does it mean to you guys that you've seen all these things just happen in your career?
Well, I'm thankful, first of all, that we've, got the new field and the Jumbotron and all that.
It is a blessing.
Yeah, but I'm just, happy to be a part of it.
Keegan?
Yeah, I'm just happy to be a part of it. I mean, we've never really had the nicest stuff over where we're at, and now it feels like we're playing on like a college campus.
And I didn't even mention the black helmets last year, did I? I mean, so,
We got another surprise coming. There's another one. We got another surprise coming.
Well, we don't want to tip it off here. I'll ask you about it some other time, and as far as that goes. Coach Hall, second season at your alma mater. Last year, it didn't sneak up on you. You were hired in the spring. You got through spring and everything there like that. But this year it's been full-time, all football, summer passing, 7-on-7, everything else. What does it take? And you've been there. You played on a successful school at Reinhardt and won a national championship. What does it take? What does it take? These guys being the leaders, these guys growing, bringing everybody up with. What does it take to get to that championship level?
I think a lot of it is just showing up every day with a goal and a mindset to go to work. Don't take a day off. And in the weight room, don't skip reps. Everybody's like, oh, it's just 2 reps. It don't matter. But it's just the mentality and the purpose about everything. It's like if you're gonna miss those 2 reps, then you might go not all out on 4th and 2 on the field. So I think it's just from the day you start, from the day you walk in the building, be locked in on what you're doing and go attack it. And I think it takes everybody on the team to be together. You can't have no separation where it's like these 3 guys over here and these 3 guys over here, and they're beefing the whole time. They're never together. And I think we have that right now. I think however 57, whatever it is on the team, I think everybody's bought in. We never really have any arguments. We never really have any fights. It's serious. It's football. It's competitive during practice. So you're going to have little scuffles. But I think 100%, whatever 11 stepping out on the field, I think everybody out there has got every one of them's back. And I think they know everybody on the sidelines got their back. Every coach has their back. And I think we're all in it together. And I think it's just a massive turnaround for Scott High football, honestly. And I think it's going to be awesome to watch.
Okay. I want to ask Keegan and Gus this question. You're not limited to just one, but what 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 players would you like to see have solid, good seasons that we talk about, for the next 2 or 3 years on the team? Who would you like to see excel this year?
I'd really love to see Mason Llewellyn and Micah Bowles and Eli Kidd.
2 linemen and a second string quarterback, but you're starting free safety there like it. Okay, good. Sam, or excuse me, Gus, yourself.
I would say probably Michael Bond, Jagan Morgan, and Hayden Mason.
Both of you are thinking about linemen. That's in that true thing. I ask you guys. You got. I mentioned athleticism. You got Jagan. You got White. How's that been to see them sort of learn the game of high school football in the spring and stay with it this fall? What's it been like watching them and their progression and their want to learn about football and to learn the offense and to be a valuable member?
Well, you see them fall in love with it more every day, and every week, they surprise you more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just happy to have them on the team.
Yeah. How about you, Keith?
It's great, and they make each one of us better every day.
So can we now forever on call them football players instead of basketball players, you think?
Yeah.
Well, that's good, Coach. You've got the guys thinking on the right thing.
Absolutely.
We're going to wind it up here in just a second, but I'm going to give each one of you and then Coach a chance to say whatever you want to about your team, your school, your season. Just throw it out there, whatever you want to talk about in terms of Highlander football.
I'm thankful that we're all together like we are right now, and I'm thankful we have such a good school staff and all that, that support us, and it's just going to be something fun to watch.
Fun to watch. I like that. Keith?
I'm thankful for our coaches, thankful for our players, and I hope we have a great year.
There you go. Coach Hall, a lot of new stuff. I've got this in my Friday night notes. A lot of new stuff. Well, it's new principal, Mr. Mark Taylor. Got a new athletic director, Morgan Boyd. Got a new assistant principal, Jacqueline Hamby, I believe. They're like that. Talk about the board. We've talked about that, the video board. We've talked about concession stands, the restrooms, and everything like that. It seems like we've taken not a step. It seems like we've sort of taken a real leap in new things this year.
Yeah, yes, sir. I think, we got everything, staff from previous administration and stuff kind of got switched up. And, when he came in, I met with him when he got the job, and he told me, I've got his full support.
Mm-hmm.
He said, anything I need, just let him know.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been attacking it. And then Morgan, she's around everything always anyways. She's always there. She does a great job. And then Jacqueline stepped in. She's done a great job. And they support us to do whatever we need to do. Yeah, I think it's been
And I didn't even mention new boys head basketball coach, Brent Ellis.
Yeah, Coach
I didn't
Brent,
even mention that. I mean, I just come out of school and I think, well, this is new and that's new. I mean, whether it be personnel, whether it be things that I see there like that, it's new. And I hope, 3 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, 11 weeks from now, we can say, hey, this group embraced this and they excelled. And they won the 10 games that we expected them to win. It's not easy, but it's been 8 years, guys. 8 years since the winning record, since the playoff game, everything like that. I mean, I think this senior unit can be the leaders to take us back to where we want to go there like that. Yep. Coach, your final thoughts now.
Yeah, okay.
Take as much time as you want, 30 seconds or whatever.
I'd like to thank, first of all, my coaching staff, because I could not do it without them. Every one of them, they help me to no end. And I think it's awesome because we show up every day and, yes, we're coaching football. Yes, we're coaching them hard. But at the same time, we enjoy it. And, it's hard sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You're showing up every day year round. It's hard sometimes. But there's never a time where any of them there, they seem like they don't want to be there. Every one of them go there and they attack it every day. And they have a smile on their face and they're encouraging their kids. And they're hyping me in the whole time. It's awesome. And then to the kids, I'm beyond thankful for them too, because first of all, I couldn't ask for a better group of kids, honestly. We never really have any problems. They never complain, and they just go to work. And then I think the biggest thing that I will always say this about this team, the biggest jump that they have made over this offseason ain't just athletically or football or anything like that. It's how they have all matured and became young men over this offseason. We would sit back as coaches and talk about it and just watch them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy the difference, and it's really awesome to kind of just be a part of it and see it happen.
Well, former coach of yours, Keith Channing, used to say, Hayes in the Barn.
Yep, absolutely.
Friday night, 7:30.
go time.
McQuarrie Central Raiders.
Yep, sir.
It's off. It's getting off to the good start, guys, and it's 1 week at a time. Even though the second week is our open date. It's early in the year, but it is our open date. But you want to pick up the win first. You want to carry the momentum. 2 weeks after that, as you travel to Monterey, which would be the first road game on the season. But I look forward to it. And anything you want to say to our fans? I know your parents and grandparents and everybody's going to be there. But what do you guys want to say to the student body, to the staff, to just general Highlander football fans? What do you want to say to them to encourage them to be at this Friday's game? Now, come on, Keegan. You told me you'd participate tonight, so what do you want to say to our fan base out there?
Be ready for a good year.
Yep. We kept it simple. There we go.
I like it.
What about yourself, Gus? And you can copy, I guess, what Keegan said.
Same thing as Keegan.
Okay. Guys, we thank you for being on the round table. You guys on the round table any last year? Gus was, and Keegan was. Yeah, you guys are veterans. Thanks for coming back. We thank both of you. Send our very best out to the team. And, Coach, man, go forth, do good things.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And always remember, guys, do what's right. That's it. We thank Coach Billy Hall.
There's one way.
Okay. We thank Keegan Bowen and Gus King. You want to?
Oh, no.
It's okay. You got it. You guys got it. Anyway, that's our segment that we've got with Coach Hall and the players for Scott High. Once again, game time, 7:30 Friday night at Highlander Field. Come up and see us. We'll be in the, I guess it's still a Twin K press box.
Yep, yes, sir.
Still a Twin K press box. So come up and see us before the game, and we'll talk football there. So thanks to everybody. Thanks for Greg for being here, and Ben and Tim. They put on the earlier segments. Stewart's back there, and Coach Hall's still sitting back there. That's it. We thank you for the first night of the round table prior to the 2025 season.